On March 25th, 2020, a man went missing. Who was that man? Justice.
Hi everyone. Uh, this is coming to you live, uh, recorded on Wednesday evening. How are we doing? Good, great. Thanks for asking. Um, Today, we're doing a very small part of lesson 5, number 6, user inputs and strings. Uh, the required part of this lesson is very small, but there is an extension for those who have finished all their work, including totally done with clicker game, ready for the quiz, all that good stuff. So, yeah, what we covered today could be and will be a small part of the quiz, but a small part. So the goal for today, what is a string and how can it be combined with numbers? There's a Google question, as always. There is code studio work that is due tomorrow. And there is a variable quiz tomorrow that will be posted to Classroom. The agenda first, we're going to go over answers on the classwork people sent in their pictures or typed up versions of. And then I'll give us the definition and point us to the direction in code.org that we should go. Before moving on, if you are not done with the clicker game, that's okay. The first week, I'm making deadlines to help you keep on track, but I really don't want anyone to panic in this time of truly historical crisis. New York City has not been shut down like this. The country, the world has not been shut down like this since World War II, since World War I, since the Spanish influenza of 1918. So I don't think you should be punished by living through a historical crisis, something that will certainly have a section in future U.S. history books. Anywho, moving on. So, yeah, reach out. Some of you have, and I really, really appreciate it. And a lot of you have been asking me questions, and that's awesome. Cool. Answers. Time, 100. Health, 30. Score, 3,000. Here's my work. It's color-coded. R2, S3. Doesn't ask about T, so who cares? The old switcheroo. Look for that pattern. A to A, B to B. Try to follow my scribbles. It's a classic. This one was hard. Problem 4 was hard. Problem 4 was definitely hard. But you had to test numbers. This was actually more of a hint than a requirement. So if I tested with 2, for example, I just replaced Y with 2, and then I just ran the code as best I could, keeping track of the loops and loops. And I got B as an answer. And then the challenge problem, the answer was C. They both produced the same result. This one wasn't as hard as others I'd seen like it. I think I'd actually anticipated it being harder. But it's a challenge if you're learning it on your own, for sure. Cool. All right, some vocab. The word string, we've actually already done this, which is why it's only one day. It's not a big thing, but I can't skip it because it's part of the end of unit project. We're still a little bit away from. We're a bit away from it. This might be really useful for some people's apps. It's really useful when displaying fancy things like, today if you do the extension stuff, you can learn how to have the person type in their name, and you can say like welcome. I'm trying to decide if I want to use like a student's name and call them out. No. Welcome hamster to this game. You can have a welcome message, something like that. So anything in quotation marks is called a string, and it's just the word for text. I should have actually said this to relate it to the beginning of the year, which honestly seems like a century ago. ASCII characters. anything that can be written as an ASCII character that's written with like the quotes is a string. So here's some examples of how things can be combined. So this would be the code, and this would be what would come out on the screen. So if I said string number 1, text with this space in between, plus here, it combines it to say text here. If I write text no space plus here, text with no space here. And here's the fun one. This is my favorite example. If I write a number and then another number, but it's the text now, it will just smush them together like anything else. This is a fun one to me. Versus, like, if you did 7 plus 6, that would still get you Dora the Explorer time. What would that get you? 13, that's right. But it's the quotes that matter because it treats it like text. It's wild. This is the part you have to do. This is the part you have to do. Lesson 6, number 3 through 5. This will be graded. I'll have something in Scheduler. This is the extension. I'm not putting a due date on this extension. Feel free to work on it whenever. Over the next week, over the weekend. I'll check it from time to time, de temps en temps. And yeah, if you're done with it, you can let me know. You can ask about it in office hours, but if people have other questions, I'll prioritize other things. But it's pretty fun. It's a good challenge. Let's see what the work is. So the stuff you have to do is lesson 6, number 3, and then number 4. This is a debugging. So the goal is to fix the errors. If I run this, errors happen. Your goal is to fix the errors. In number 3, this introduces strings. They say the word data type. If you continue in programming, actually later we'll see another data type too. Data type just means it's a type of information. So a number is a type of thing. You can add and subtract them. Strings, like text, is another type. We can combine them together, but it doesn't really make sense to say what is hamster plus bacon. What? I don't know what that is. So they give you a bunch of examples, just to add on some of the ones I showed you earlier. And the goal is for you. Yeah, this is kind of dumb. Honestly, this is kind of dumb. But the goal is for you to just write in words. Plural noun, Texans. Verb, sleep. Adjective, handsome. Adjective 2, isolated. Because that's what we are. We're in quarantine. Okay, and then you run it. And then, hey, how to take care of your pet ostrich. Make sure your ostrich eats plenty of Texans. Your ostrich will need to sleep at least a couple times a day. That actually makes sense. A healthy diet will make sure your ostrich feathers are handsome and isolated. Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's a Mad Lib. They're fun. So type in words there, see how they work. It's just to get practice using strings and to see in the code how it actually combines with the plus sign. And number 4 has you do a little bit more work. But it's very, very straightforward, very simple. Yeah. Here is your Google question. So your answer in Google would be like 1 blank, 2 blank, 3 blank, 4 blank, that kind of thing. Take a deep breath. We're gonna be okay. Yeah, we're gonna be great. Take care. Bye, everyone. And tune in next time to find out the next mystery in our murder mystery adventure.